Hello, Void. How you all doing? It's been a while. I've been sort of falling off my pacing here. I've actually got quite a few reviews on the back burner that I just haven't got around to recording because I'm lazy and tired. Alright, so let's just kind of jump in on this one. So, Sushi Girl, 2012 movie, which I don't know if it really is my normal style of movie, but the over-the-top brutality and gore in the movie kind of drew to my attentions. I had never seen this movie before. I had heard of it, and had heard pretty good things, and after I saw the cast, I had to see this film. And I was not disappointed. So, Sushi Girl stars Tony Todd, of Candyman fame, who has become one of my favorite actors. His style, demeanor, and voice, that voice alone, really sells a lot of roles, and I'll see any movie just with because he's in it. Add Mark Hamill to the mix in a unrecognizable role as Crow, the torture mob expert who's very effeminate. It was he was these two were fighting for the amount of scenery each of them could chew, and it was beautiful. Alright, so not exactly into the horror, sci-fi, or fantasy wheelhouse, but the violence definitely kicks it up into my realm. This is more of a mobster crime flick. It involves I believe, was it 6 guys? Oh, 5 actually. The 6th one had died initially. 5 people meeting for a sushi dinner after 5 years. 5, 6 years. Now, one of them, Fish, just got out of prison for taking the fall for a crime. It doesn't really go into what the crime is initially, but he's invited to this meeting, and he doesn't seem too pleased about it because he says he was out, because he already did the prison time for these guys. He doesn't want anything more to do with it. Tony Todd's Duke seems to have been a ringleader on a heist 6 years ago, and is calling the team back together to reminisce and figure out where the diamonds got to. Then most of them are pretty sure Fish stashed them at some point before he got picked up, as he was the new guy and the bagman. But when the cops picked him up, his bag was empty. Where did the diamonds go? And they're determined to figure that out. Now, what does that have to do with the title of Sushi Girl? Well, they're meeting at a Asian-style, dilapidated old restaurant, perhaps, and what they have prepared in front of them is a meal of sushi. However, as Tony Todd's Duke says, he wants to do this Yakuza style, and they are going to be eating sushi off of this naked woman. Like you do. So, pretty much she's been trained to ignore everything around her and act as a serving platter. So, while the mobsters are eating off her, she also has to ignore their comments about their crimes, their yelling back and forth, and then as they start to try to torture Fish for information, and then when the guns get drawn and people start dying, she still has to maintain composure. So the movie pretty quick gets into kind of a flow of Fish gets tied to a chair, and they get into kind of a challenge of who can break him. Then switching between Mark Hamill's Duke, and I'm not sure who the other actor was off the top of my head. He wasn't really as familiar to me. But then his character is more of the anger management, brutal character. Now, they each have a possibility to have had a chance to steal the diamonds themselves, so are they just trying to blame it all on Fish? Did someone set them all up? What's going on? Well, we fall into the style of either of all the people there taking a turn at Fish, before cutting to a flashback as we see more and more about the actual crime that happened, which allows us to kind of piece together the actual events. Like, you don't find out it's diamonds thereafter until about halfway through the movie. And overall, I really enjoyed this one. It had style, the acting was great, particularly Mark Hamill. He was a standout here. And always loved Tony Todd. The rest of the cast definitely didn't hold back, and most of them were over the top and larger than life, but they couldn't hold a candle to the other two. The gore effects were gruesome, particularly after Fish starts getting his face pretty much ripped apart by broken glass. This movie does not pull punches. I don't know if I have any real complaints about the film. It didn't overstay its welcome, but it still built up everything you need to know about the characters. I mean, I would have loved to have spent some more time with them, but other than that, this one's an easy 4 stars for me. 4 MacGuffins. So, it isn't a life-changing film, but I would happily watch this one again. I probably will give it a repeat viewing or two. It was very satisfying. And I was sucker for sushi, so it made me hungry. Apparently, this one was originally intended to be a low-budget movie that was pretty much one person wrote. The writer also directed it and was trying to get it off the ground as a small independent film until I believe Tony Todd caught on and executive produced it and helped kick it up to get it an all-star cast. So, and I think it really benefited from that, because lesser actors may not have been able to pull off some of the insanity that takes place during this movie. So, I really like this one. I highly recommend taking a look at it. So, have a good day.